Hi, Todd from Infidelity here. Today we're going to talk about a one-of-a-kind headphone. Well, three of a kind. There's Audeze makes these iSine headphones in three different versions. The iSine 10 for $399, the iSine 20 for $599, and the i4, which is their high-end version of this headphone, for about $2,500, so pretty pricey piece of gear. This is the iSine 20, the middle in the family, and it's a one-of-a-kind because it's the world's first in-ear headphone with an open acoustic, which means that you can hear everything that's going on outside you while you're wearing these headphones. Kind of an unusual characteristic for an in-ear headphone. I didn't know if it was going to be something I actually liked or not when I got them, but I found myself quite pleased with the experience of being able to walk around, hear the people talking to me, pause my player, answer the phone, get in bed at night and watch movies on my iPad. It's a very nice headphone for around the house or in a quiet office setting. So it's a pretty interesting headphone. You'll have to think about it a little bit to see if it's something that might be up your alley, but as a sort of casual listening around the home or office, this is a pretty nice design. So this is a planar magnetic in-ear headphone. Inside this housing here, there's a couple of fluxor magnets, which is Audeze's term for their cool magnet structure that focuses the energy on the diaphragm side of the magnets, and also uses their Uniforce technology, which is a way that they vary the width of the circuit traces on the diaphragm to match the intensity of the the magnetic field of the magnets, and allows it to have the same force across the surface of the diaphragm regardless of the magnetic field intensity due to the different trace widths of the Uniforce circuit. So it's pretty interesting technology. And so in here we have the magnets on the back side and then a diaphragm on the front side, and the sound from the driver goes through this tube here to the ear tip, and this tube is very, very special. It actually has another cone-shaped thing inside of it so that the sound goes through a circular hole in front of the driver diaphragm, and that enclosure slowly tapers off into nothing and when it exits the nozzle of the ear tube here. And I don't know if you can see it. It's a little tricky. See if I can get it to catch the light on the tip. Yeah, you can't quite see it, but you can sometimes see the tip of that plug in there. They call that a phaser, like they do on their other headphones, in order to acoustically control the sound coming off that side of the diaphragm. Pretty interesting design, really. I go into it in a lot more detail in the article on Infidelity, as this sound tube and the coupling, the acoustic coupling of the sound from the driver all the way through this ear tube and into your ear canal, into your eardrum, is very, very tightly designed. So this is a pretty cool design, and I go into it on the article on Infidelity in a little more depth. The ear tips, it has ear tips that go on the end of the ear tube here. The ear tips that I ended up using most, or liking the most, we can see if we can get it to focus here, is these ridged tips. You can see the very light ridging on it. They also have versions of these tips that are smooth, and they come in three different sizes. And there's also this ear hook that comes off this annular ring here around the ear tube, and that is to hook onto your ear. The earpieces weigh about 10 grams, which is a little heavy for an IEM, but I found with these ear hooks on and the proper placement, after a while you find the right rotational placement for this ear hook so it fits just right in your ear. I found it was quite secure and quite comfortable. I didn't feel it overly weighty or anything like that. I mean, in fact, it's one of the more comfortable IEMs I've had the pleasure of wearing. So that's pretty cool. They come in 2 different sizes. So there's another size of this ear hook there, and they also to have a clear one that's the same size as this gloss black one. There also comes with it these ear locks that also fit on this annular ring, and they go into let's see if I can get the right one here. And it's going to be hard for you to see this, but the ear lock goes on like that and goes into your ear so that it clips into the top part of your concha bowl here. I can't remember the name of this part of the ear, but I didn't find that these really held it in place very well, however. So I don't think that was... Audeze also recommends in the manual that the ear hooks are probably the best solution for most folks. Also coming with these headphones, there is the Cypher Lightning cable. This is a cable that is intended for use with iOS devices using the Lightning connector. And inside this dongle piece right here, of course, you have the controls for volume up, volume down, pause, play, fast forward, answer the phone, etc., etc. There's a microphone in here so that you can talk on the phone with it. But also in here is a digital signal processor and an A to D converter to drive the headphones themselves. And the digital signal processor in this unit has a equalization stored in it to make absolutely correct the tonal character of these headphones, and it works quite well. Also coming with the headphone is a regular straight cable and terminated in a 3.5 millimeter tip ring sleeve, and has the cables connectors for the earpieces right here on the other end. There's no remote control or microphone or anything on this cable. Other accessories that come with the headphone are a little travel pouch like this, and inside the packaging, when you open it up, there's this, you have to put your finger in a little slot right there to click it open, and there's this mounting piece that the headphones are mounted on when you get them. And this piece, you can put the headphones in, and unfortunately with the ear hooks, they don't quite fit in there securely. It's really only the bottom part of the headphone that gets securely locked in there, but once you wind the cables up around it, it works just dandy. And then this entire assembly slips into the travel pouch, and there you have a nice little way for protection, storage, and travel. So it works good. Let's see, sound quality wise. Well, the sound quality with the standard cable I felt was kind of lacking. It tended to deliver a reduced lower treble, sort of in the 2 kilohertz to 8 kilohertz area roughly, and while it was very low distortion and it does a good job in sort of time alignment and all those measures of linearity, the tonality isn't quite correct. So when they designed these headphones, I think they really had in mind this little lightning dongle so that they could have some DSP correction, and they designed the headphones for the most linear performance, which means that they are then afterwards most able to take an EQ without misbehaving. So that's a very smart approach, really, and I agree with that approach fundamentally. But the downside is that you have to be using an iOS device to get that tonal correctness. With the standard cable, the bass was a little light. Again, it had this missing lower treble that made it somewhat veiled sounding. But once I put it on a iPhone or an iPad, these things really came to life. And there's some bass boost down low. That missing part of the treble is put back into place. Really had a solid sound. I personally downloaded the app, the Audeze app for the cipher cable, in which there's a graphic equalizer, and I tuned down some of the energy between 5 and 500 hertz and 4K, because it seemed like there was a little bit too much presence. It was a little bit too forward on the vocals with the lightning cable. But it was still quite close, so it's a very, very good listen. The other thing is that because I think of the really great time alignment and low distortion, the imaging is astonishing with these headphones and the lightning cable. Probably one of the bigger IEM images I've had in my head or experienced with IEMs. I'm not sure if it's entirely from the headphones or if it's in part this increased sense of space because it's an open headphone and you can hear some of the world around you. But they did deliver a really open and pleasant listening experience. So yeah, the iSine 20, it's $599 in-ear open acoustic headphone from Audeze, and it's going to go on the Wall of Fame because there's nothing else like it, and so it was kind of make it or break it, and it certainly did made it. You know, it's a very good sounding headphone, very nice. I would, it was better than I expected it to be with the lightning cable. Really a solid performer there. So on the Wall of Fame with the lightning cable. Without the lightning cable, it's kind of a tougher call. It's really more about whether you think you want that use of that open acoustic in-ear headphone. But it certainly performed fairly well. I would say on average or better for headphones at this in-ear headphones in this price range. So it was certainly acceptable. But with the iPhone and iOS devices, yeah, this thing is pretty cool. So the Audeze iSine 20, hope you get a chance to hear one soon. It really is worth your while, and if you're a iOS fan, certainly something to consider for around the house and general purpose use because it's quite comfortable and fun. All right, we'll see you guys next time.